It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look at our weather forecast. And I'll tell you, what a beautiful week ahead. We'll see 70s and temperatures in the 80s today with partly cloudy skies. And then look at that, lots of sunshine throughout the rest of our work week. We will warm up into the upper 80s and lower 90s by Friday. But then once again, changes are on the way. And we'll talk more about that later on in our broadcast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Traffic was snarled over the weekend in the Vantage area on I-90. Officials rescue a Wenatchee man from the Wenatchee River Saturday, and Hale Park readies for its grand opening. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, healthcare and climate change were the main topics of discussion Saturday morning during Senator Maria Cantwell's town hall meeting at the Wenatchee High School auditorium. Nearly 600 attendees took advantage of the opportunity to ask Senator Cantwell questions and to voice their concerns. Dr. Peter Rutherford, CEO of Confluence Health, asked the senator if the nation as a whole had an identity crisis.
Well, do you think we have a national identity at this moment, or are we spending a lot of time dealing with the crisis of the moment?
Look, I think the information age is, I'm sure people watched TV before they got here and saw things that were happening all around the country and the globe, right? So we now can be, I'm sure people are watching on, a device right now. So that information overload can feel a lot like the crises of the moment. Do I think that we have a big challenge? Yeah, I think we live in this changing economy that is going, look, I tell the young people that work with me, there's a reason Ma Bell doesn't exist anymore. And they look at me and like, who's Ma Bell? And so you have to communicate about what, and I said, listen, I was in our legislature when we debated caller ID. And it was controversial. I mean, people forget that it was like, oh, should we have caller ID? Should we not? Maybe that's not a good idea. But now, so many sectors of our economy are just like Ma Bell and are being impacted. So how do we prepare for that? And how do we prepare? I believe in what Harry Truman said, which is America is not built on fear, it's built on hard work and determination to do the job at hand. And that's what I want us to get about, doing the job at hand to prepare for that economy of the future and what are the things that we need to do. So I just feel like that vision, so when people say that, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. All the women went to work in the factories when the men went to World War II. Okay, the women got it done. Okay, okay, Hanford was an incredible accomplishment in a short period of time. There's a lot to that story, but it in and of itself was a change. And so the notion that America has been this great country to tackle great challenges and be a leader and a beacon for democracy around the globe, to be for the rule of law, and to be for the freedom of the press. That is what we should be holding up, and that's... So I don't think our values have gone anywhere. I just think we've been bombarded with information, and we got to step back and say, okay, how are we going to navigate this future? But we have navigated a lot of tricky, challenging situations in the past, and we can navigate this one as well.
Senator Cantwell also spoke about her decision to hold a town hall meeting in Wenatchee.
And the reason why after Seattle I wanted to come to Wenatchee is because I felt like there were so many important issues that we all have been working on together. It's not lost on me about what's happening in healthcare in the central part of our state, and I know it's a very critical and important issue. And we've been working very hard on fire issues as well, and I know how important those are to the community. So it's just a great opportunity for me to see and hear from so many people from a part of the state that I care so much about, and that you are adding so much input. I thanked the mayor earlier this week. We had a fire hearing in Washington, D.C., and he sent the Economic Development Director, Stephen King, not the author, but the economic development director. And he did a really good job of educating all our colleagues from around the country on the challenges that we face as a community that's so close to the urban interface of what our fire system is and our forest systems.
More coverage of Senator Cantwell's town hall meeting on an upcoming episode of NCW Life magazine with Jay Seebeck. A brush fire and a big rig crash combined over the weekend to snarl traffic along I-90 in the Vantage area. It started Sunday morning when a Franz bread truck burst into flames after striking a Jersey barrier. No one was injured, but the wreckage closed the bridge for several hours. Troopers say the accident was caused by a drowsy driver. State fire assistance is on hand in support of local firefighters working to contain the Halt Butte fire located about 4 miles west of Vantage in Kittitas County. The Halt Butte fire started Sunday night and is estimated at 500 acres and growing. The fire is threatening homes, a cell tower, and infrastructure in the area. Level 1 evacuations are currently in effect for 32 homes. The fire closed I-90 overnight when flames crossed the highway between Vantage and the Ryegrass Summit. The roadway is now reopened. A Wenatchee man was listed in critical condition at Central Washington Hospital yesterday after a rafting accident on the Wenatchee River Saturday night. 47-year-old Ronald Anderson was swept off an inner tube as he and a group of people were floating toward the Cottage Avenue Bridge in Kashmir. Some of the inflatable rafts and tubes deflated as they were caught in the strong current around the bridge pillars. Anderson was on a single tube, which was tied to 2 other tubes in a raft. Anderson was not wearing a life vest and went underwater after colliding with the raft in front of him. His friends were able to get him to shore and start CPR while calling 911. Emergency crews arrived to transport Anderson to the hospital. Coming up, the city of Wenatchee's first dog park prepares for its grand opening and exciting news regarding a new Boys and Girls Club. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Today we're watching an intriguing female searching for her ideal habitat.
It appears she's a social creature. Interacts well with others.
What determination! This Sheila can do anything.
Well, I didn't see this coming. She's enrolling in Charter College. Could this be her ideal habitat? Caring for others?
This, not healthy.
Start your evolution at chartercollege.edu.
I gotta tell you, I'm nervous. Selling your home, it's a big step.
Can we find the right buyer in this market?
Look at our website. When someone looks at your home, I can tell how ready they are to buy. See that number? The closer it is to 100, the closer they are to buying. So, I know who to zero in on.
So you have a secret weapon.
You mean, we have a secret weapon.
I like that. Oh, what do you think of the wallpaper?
I love that touch.
Welcome back. According to Douglas County Sheriff Harvey Jesdahl, police have arrested an East Wenatchee man for an alleged hit and run that occurred last Thursday, August 10th at around 7 p.m. on Akron Avenue in Rock Island. Jesdahl reports that 2 males had gotten into an argument over accusations of theft. One of the males got into his car when a second male approached him and punched him in the face. The driver of the car then backed up violently and caught the second man's leg under the vehicle. The driver fled the scene and the injured male was transported to Confluence Hospital for treatment. The driver was identified as 46-year-old Gordon McVeigh of East Wenatchee. McVeigh contacted the sheriff's office the next day and agreed to give a statement. He was then arrested for hit and run. The city of Wenatchee unveils its first off-leash dog park Tuesday with the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Steve Hare reports.
Hale Park is located at the south end of Worthen Street near the pedestrian pipeline bridge. The first phase of the project is now complete, and phase 2 will begin next year, according to City Parks and Recreation Director Dave Erickson.
So then the second phase of the project will wrap up the park. So that would be adding in restrooms and children's play equipment, a small skate park, and a picnic shelter will be going in, and some additional landscaping in that second phase. And so then that'll completely finish up the park.
Hale Park's development is financed by a combination of state and city funds, along with private contributions from the group Fido for the off-leash dog park. Tuesday's ribbon-cutting ceremony starts at 6 p.m. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
For the first time in history, the Wenatchee Valley will have a Boys and Girls Club. As part of the Our Valley, Our Future community building initiative, the Boys and Girls Club of Snohomish County has signed a long-term agreement to lease 24 acres of land, and that's along the Malaga-Alcoa Highway from the Malaga-Colocum Community Council for a club facility and new community park. Herb Gardner, chairman of the Malaga-Colocum Community Council, says a Boys and Girls Club will benefit not only area children, but also specifically the Malaga community.
The Boys and Girls Club with their after-school programs and summer programs for kids is probably a great thing. Ever since we've been looking at this, I've been noticing Boys and Girls Clubs around the country, and I've been amazed at how many people in the Malaga area have stopped and told me that they were in the Boys and Girls Clubs when they were younger. Boys and Girls Club is looking for a fundraising program, and then of course you got to have permits to build whatever they got to build. So I would assume that the earliest we'd be looking at is 5 years.
Gardner says efforts to build a community park dates back to 1979, and of the 24 acres in the deal, 2.5 of those acres will go towards a new park.
Ever since the school has gone, the Malaga Community Council was formed, looking for something to kind of have a focal group for the community. So yes, the park has been the thing for the community we've been looking at.
Working alongside the Boys and Girls Club of Brewster and the Malaga-Colocum Community Council, the Boys and Girls Club of Snohomish County is the umbrella organization for the new facility. Club officials hope to construct a gymnasium, activity rooms, teen center, computer lab, and ball fields. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come right here on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season, and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
Wenatchee Valley College is now offering 4-year degrees. The need for engineering technologists is rapidly growing, and the new Bachelor of Applied Science in Engineering Technology is designed to meet the needs of local employers. Students with an associate degree can complete the program in only 2 or 3 years. Don't wait! The program is accepting just 20 students for fall quarter. Apply now at wvc.edu/engineeringtech.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
Eric Granstrom is away traveling with the Seahawks, so I'll have a quick look at today's sports. Well, speaking of the Seahawks, it was quite a start to the preseason in Southern California Sunday. Eric was there and has the story.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks started the preseason on the road on Sunday night in Carson, California against the strangely sounding LA Chargers. And it was all Seattle on Sunday night as they won it by a final of 48-17. The Chargers would score first as Phillip Rivers engineered a very nice drive down the field. They get up 7-0. Seahawks, Russell Wilson only played one series. He takes the club down the field. They get a field goal out of it, but it was all Seattle after that. Trevon Boykin came in. A little shaky to start with, but then settled things down and really took charge of this offense with his feet, rushing for a touchdown, and also with his arm. He was 12 of 15 on the night for 189 yards passing with a touchdown throwing as well. Casey Williams probably the star of the night offensively as he gets 4 catches acrobatic, all 4 of them for 119 yards in the contest. Meanwhile, defensively, the Seahawks looked great as well, as after the Rivers drive and the 7 points, it was pretty much, they held them in check after that. But Terrence Garvin, brand new to the Seahawks this year, he gets a pick 6 on a beautiful play over the middle from 35 yards out, I think it was. Seahawks also get another interception on the night. They get a fumble recovery, and it looks like the Seahawks of old, maybe harking back to, I don't know, 2012 and a Super Bowl win. Well, away with it. We can't get too far here. It's just one preseason game, but a good one at that, as they win it here tonight in Carson, California at the StubHub Center, 48-17. The Hawks are back home on Friday to host the Minnesota Vikings. From the StubHub Center, I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel.
Thank you, Eric, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Martin Maldonado's two-run single in the fifth led the Angels to a 4-2 win over the Mariners and completed a four-game sweep by LA over the weekend. Seattle tried for a late comeback in the ninth as Gerard Dyson singled home Robinson Cano to make it 4-2. But with the tying runs aboard, Guillermo Heredia flew out and Leonis Martin lined out to end the ballgame. Cano finished 3 for 4 with a run, while Dyson was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Manager Scott Service said over 4 games, the Angels were just the better team.
We got outplayed. The Angels played better than we did for 4 days. I say that, and you can look back at all 4 games, and we were right in all 4 games. We had good chances to win them. Some of them we had leads in, but we have to get it back going in the right direction again. I think, in all facets of the game. We struggled pitching-wise at times this weekend. We didn't run the bases real well. The offense couldn't really get it clicking, the defense. So it happens. Unfortunately, we hit a bad spot here, bad patch at home. We got to get it going back in the right direction again, which we will. I have no doubts about, the character of our club and our guys getting back after it again, and you look at, didn't really do much offensively today, and we're one big swing away from jumping and pulling one out today. So disappointing weekend, no doubt. We got outplayed. There's nothing, no excuses, nothing. They played better than we did. They executed better. They got big hits when they needed to, and that's what happens once in a while. But we've got a lot of baseball left to play, and we will get it going in the right direction.
The losses drop Seattle back to 2 games out of the second wildcard playoff spot as Baltimore comes to town now for the first of 3 games beginning tonight at 7:10. It will be Giovanni Gallardo taking on Kevin Gossman on the mound. Also in the American League West on Sunday, the Astros keep up their winning ways, defeating Texas 2-1. It was Oakland over Baltimore 9-3. So here are your standings in the American League West. Houston stays on top at 72-45, followed by the Angels. They're 61-58, and they're the Mariners at 59-60. Right behind them, Texas at 56-60, and bringing up the rear in the American League West is Oakland at 52-66. Now for that wild card race, it was Cleveland 5, Tampa Bay 3 last night. Minnesota defeated Detroit 6-4. Kansas City all over the Chicago White Sox 14-6. And now in those important wild card standings, at least for the Mariners right now, the Yankees, they're in the driver's seat in the wild card at 61-55. They're a game and a half up on the Angels now, who are 61-58, followed by the Minnesota Twins at 59-57. Then it's Kansas City. Seattle is 2 games back at 59-60, and they are tied with Tampa Bay at that same record. Baltimore also in the race at 58-60. And that's a look at sports. And now for our feature story today. This year's Wenatchee Stand Down event was a huge success. Last Friday, hundreds of veterans took advantage of free clothing, food, haircuts, and medical care. The objective of the Stand Down is to provide outreach to at-risk and homeless veterans, and maybe more importantly, provide them with the opportunity to connect with other veterans who've gone through or are going through PTSD and other post-service related issues. Sue Dickinson with the Veterans Counseling of Central Washington says mental illness in some form is the #1 affliction for returning vets.
One of my hopes today was to just kind of make more connections with more veterans. I'm oftentimes surprised how many people don't know that we have veterans counseling here in Wenatchee. I have a contract that with the VA that provides free services to veterans if they're qualified, if they've been deployed. And we see all ages. We've got a couple World War II guys. We've got a lot of younger Afghan, Iraq guys, and a lot of Vietnam. But we provide groups and individual counseling and specialize in working with veterans.
And a lot of folks think veterans' issues are mainly homelessness and maybe medical insurance, medical issues, but mental illness is really at the top of the list, isn't it?
Well, or just making that transition. Veterans as a group oftentimes are a healthy crew, but what happens is it's very hard to transition from the military to the civilian life, and you add a couple war deployments, the stress level is very hard to. So what I like to do is a lot of reintegration too, helping them adjust to community, civilian community, but also we probably specialize more in PTSD than anything else, which is post-traumatic stress disorder.
So what do you think, and maybe you don't know this, but what do you think the percentage is of vets coming home that have PTSD in some way?
It's varies for war. The Vietnam had a higher percentage, I think, in part because of how they were received when they came home. But currently, I think it's like sometimes 10 to 15 to 20%. And for some people, you know, those symptoms of PTSD will pass, but for many, they stay. And just having a way to work with that, people do get better. A lot of veterans don't want to go in for counseling. They're pretty self-sufficient and self-reliant, so it's hard for them to, but their relatives, their friends will bring them in to meet us, and once they come in, they really usually find it very helpful. In particular, what I think helps is the groups, to be with other veterans who are struggling with similar issues.
Please join us again tomorrow night on NCW Life News when we will profile another less talked about veterans problem, hearing loss. We'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price.
Wow, it really does all that.
It really does all that.
Will help us pack?
We're working on that.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by First Choice Collision Center. Don't miss the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market at Pybus every Saturday from May through October. Stop by and explore the unique mix of vendors offering seasonal fruits and vegetables, cut flowers, one-of-a-kind artisan goods, and tasty cuisine. Open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the West parking lot. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
You know, I nail it, but that's not quite good enough. All right, the full-size SUV redesign this year. Wow. The brand new Nissan Titan, the truck everybody's talking about. And as long as we got that, let's start over. 2017 Nissan, the best-selling SUV in America. I freaking had it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
And now for a recap of our top stories. According to Douglas County Sheriff Harvey Jesdahl, police have arrested an East Wenatchee man for an alleged hit and run that occurred last Thursday, August 10th. It was around 7 p.m. on Akron Avenue in Rock Island. Jesdahl reports that 2 males had gotten into an argument over accusations of theft. One of the males got into his car when a second male approached him and punched him in the face. The driver of the car then backed up violently and caught the second man's leg under the vehicle. The driver fled the scene and the injured male was transported to Confluence Hospital for treatment. The driver was identified as 46-year-old Gordon McVeigh of East Wenatchee. McVeigh contacted the sheriff's office the next day and agreed to give a statement. He was then arrested for hit and run. State Fire Assistance is on hand in support of local firefighters working to contain the Halt Butte fire located about 4 miles west of Vantage in Kittitas County. The Halt Butte fire started Sunday night and is estimated at 500 acres and growing. The fire is threatening homes, a cell tower, and infrastructure in the area. Level 1 evacuations are currently in effect for 32 homes. The fire closed I-90 overnight when flames crossed the highway between Vantage and the Ryegrass Summit. The roadway is now reopened. And now for your weather forecast for north central Washington. Before we get to that, let's take a look outside our weather window and a beautiful look at the Columbia River, of course, the George Seller Bridge and footbridge next to that. And it was a nice day. Smoke has disappeared. 6/100ths of an inch of rain yesterday morning, and believe it or not, that was a record for yesterday, but it got us off the snide for days without rain here in the Wenatchee area. I think we topped off at 59 days in a row without any measurable precip. And there isn't much in our foreseeable future either, just some nice weather ahead. A cold front did pass through yesterday, which did open the door to a large trough, which is now positioned over the Pacific Northwest. You can see that big U-shaped area moving through the panhandle of Idaho. That's the trough. But behind that, we are seeing a big area of high pressure that will be in control of our weather as we continue to move through the work week. That's that dome out there in the Pacific. Winds will blow a bit this week, but could possibly bring more wildfire smoke to our area. We're hoping not, which will push down from the north into parts of mainly eastern Washington this week. We can expect a dry and seasonal period with occasional breezy winds as the area of low pressure is replaced by an even larger area of high pressure that you see there in the Pacific. We will see a dry northwest flow until about Thursday or so. Temperatures will warm until Friday. That will be our peak hot day. But by this weekend, winds should increase Saturday afternoon and evening, and again on Sunday as temperatures cool a couple of degrees. And then by early next week, we could be talking about big changes as a big weather system will move our way next week. Here's a look at your forecast. Around mid-80s today if we get there this afternoon. We will see some clouds as well, partly cloudy tonight. Then tomorrow 86 for your high, 88 on Wednesday with lots of sunshine. I mentioned Friday being the hottest day of the week. 90 for Friday with 65 our low, and then a bit of a cool down as we make our way through the weekend. 85 with some clouds on Sunday, and as I mentioned, some pretty big changes, and we'll talk more about that for next week. We'll talk more about that as this week progresses. Closing out our newscast today, many have tried to sing the national anthem. Some prevail, and some fall just a little bit short. We'll let you decide on this attempt at the Summit County Fair in Utah.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
As I said, some fall just a little bit short. If you have a video of the day you'd like to see on NCW Life News, you can message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or call us at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV Advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.